making an appointment for the COVID drug. I wanna be vaccinated. It's been a year since I gave my friends a hug. I wanna be vaccinated. Living in dystopia is losing all its charm. I'm sick of rising numbers, paranoia and alarm. So hurry, hurry, hurry and just stick it in my arm. Oh, 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 oh. I never see my family or a gig or movie theater. I wanna be vaccinated. But now that all seems normal and that makes it even weirder. I wanna be vaccinated. So let seniors and essential workers get it in advance. Then although I'm scared of needles, man, just give me half a chance. I'll be rolling up both shirt sleeves and be pulling down my pants. Oh, 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 oh. I wanna be vaccinated. Ba, 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 ba. I wanna be vaccinated. I wanna stand around with friends and look like a Ramone. I wanna be vaccinated. If you're an anti-vaxxer, cool, you can stay at home. I wanna be vaccinated. Science is the coolest thing about the human race. So let's keep spreading the safety and keep picking up the pace. Cause I miss having a life and I miss having a face. Oh, 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 oh. Ba, 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 ba. I wanna be vaccinated. No more coronavirus. Only Ramonavirus.
Hi everybody, we're back in a singing mode. When you can't breathe, sing. No, how does that go? When the world is ending, sing. When the rivers are rising, no, we're going to have the tidal estuary is going to come down in Soho and sweep all the peddlers away, because the peddlers who don't pay rent. It's called capitalism. Now this is we're going to start with a great vegetarian song. I'm a vegetarian and you're a vegetarian. Well, you could be. I became a vegetarian when I was biting into a Nathan's hot dog, and I suddenly realized that this thing that I was putting in my mouth, it wasn't a dog really, but it was a cow that was walking around and enjoying life like we all do for a certain length of time until something comes and takes us away. But they came and took them away pretty fast. And now this was in my mouth, and I didn't really like that idea. However, vegetarians aren't perfect. I'm not a vegan, for instance. I tried to eliminate eggs and milk. I couldn't do it, and cheese. Even eating vegetables, they're living things. You're destroying them, their life. Who knows if they feel anything? We don't know anything about that. And it's part of the carbon cycle. Every living thing has some carbon in it, except recently, in the last few decades, they discovered under the ocean, they discovered these hot springs, almost boiling. And they had bacteria that were sulfur-based. So these were the only living creatures in the world that hadn't depended for their being alive on other living things. So okay, with that introduction, let's sing this Girl Scout song, author unknown. Girl Scouts sing this, and it's one of my faves. It's called Ghost Chickens in the Sky. Got it there. And you can sing along if you like, because it's slow and you know the tune. The tune is When Johnny Comes Marching Home, and the tune is Ghost Riders in the Sky.
Not Johnny Comes Marching Home.
Yeah, when Johnny comes marching home again, a chicken farmer went out one dark and dreary day. Yeah, it is. Well, we have a difference here.
All right. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Anyone can, remember, you can always make up your own song. Melodies are lying around waiting for you to use them. That's called the folk process. A chicken farmer went out one dark and dreary day. He rested by the coop as he went along his way. when all at once a rotten egg hit him in the eye. It was a sight he dreaded. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Buck. Ghost chickens in the sky. The farmer had raised chickens since he was 24, working for the colonel for 30 years or more, killing all them chickens and sending them to fry. And now they want revenge. Ghost chickens in the sky. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Ghost chickens in the sky. Their feet were black and shiny. Their eyes were burning red. They had no meat or feathers. These chickens all were dead. They picked the good old farmer up. He died by the claw. They cooked him extra crispy and ate him with coleslaw. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Ghost chickens in the sky. Whoa. I better take a drink of water after that episode. Now this next song was written by Eric Drooker, the world famous, wonderful artist. Worked with Ginsberg on some of his poems. Activist on the Lower East Side. Beaten up almost choked by the cops in Tompkins Square Park. Visited Israel, Palestine, where he did good work with children. His work on the cover of the New Yorker, a failing a magazine that's fast fading from relevance, in my opinion. Has some of the worst cartoons and dumbest middle class. No, we shouldn't insult the whole class like that. Yuppie, maybe some of the worst yuppie cartoons in the universe. But Drooker's good. And this is, you could sing along to this. This is a hymn to a matriarch. You know, why should he get the whole world in his hands? She's got the whole world in her hands. 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 That is as long as the world stays whole. She's got today and tomorrow in her hands. She's got pain and sorrow in her hands. You'll have to beg, steal, or borrow when you're in her hands. She's got the whole world in her hands. She's got your heart and soul. You can sing along, you know. In her hands, she's got cosmic black holes. In her hands, she's got a rock and a roll. In her hands, she's got the whole world in her hands. She's got, war and revolutions. In her hands are all your dreams and illusions. In her hands, she'll stop Mumia's execution. With her hands, she's got the whole world in her hands. She's got the homeless and the yuppies. In her hands, she's got the cops and the squatters. In her hands, she's got the trembling landlord. In her hands, You know why he's trembling? He's afraid he won't get the city's permission to destroy a few blocks of middle-class housing. She's got the trembling landlord in her hands. She's got the whole world in her hands. She's got the John and the hooker in her hands. She's got the needle and the cooker in her hands. She's got little Eric Drooker in her hands. She's got the whole world in her hands. And she's got the judge and the jury in her hands. She's got the sound and the fury in her hands. No, you don't ever have to worry when you're in her hands. She's got the whole world in her hands. She's got flowers and trees in her hands. She's got birds and bees in her hands. She's got whole galaxies in her hands. She's got the whole world in her hands. It's funny you mentioned bees because there seems to be some concern now about disappearing bee population. I think Einstein spoke about that. He said we're more dependent for our survival on bees that fertilize countless worldwide plants and grains that we use. We're more dependent on them than on governments and on armies. And some people are blaming toxins in the air or cell phones. Well, bare-faced, who knows, as they say. So, now Mark Twain, he knew a little bit about government. He opposed the Spanish-American War in a wonderful piece he did called The War Prayer, but he also said, reader, suppose you were an idiot, and suppose you were a member of Congress, but I repeat myself. And he also said, it could probably be shown by facts and figures that there is no distinctly Native American criminal class except Congress. Then there's a little article next to you that tells you that 29 members of Congress have been accused of spousal abuse, 7 arrested for fraud, 19 writing bad checks. Bad checks are good. And 117 have been bankrupted in at least 2 businesses, 3 have been arrested for assault, and 71 have credit cards so bad they can't qualify for a credit card. That's good. 14 on drug-related, 8 for shoplifting. 21 are current defendants in lawsuits. This is like in the late 90s. This one is hard to believe, but if it says in print, it's got to be true. In 1998 alone, 84 were stopped for drunk driving, but released. That's from Capitol Hill. And I like this one. In 1917, Mark Twain said, fleas can be taught nearly everything that a congressman can. And seeing the effect that our wonderful so-called democracy has had on 60% of the American people or more, I want the war to stop immediately. 70%, I think. And can our Congress do it? No, because there's a stupid provision in the Constitution that gives the president the veto power over the rest of the country. One man, the president, has the power to destroy a human life on the planet because he can call up some other fool and tell them to drop an atomic bomb that can start the beginning of an atomic war and wipe out. So the whole system is corrupt and insane. For instance, Wyoming, that has 300,000 population, has as much power in Congress as in the Senate as California, which has 25 million people. And the whole system was set up to keep real power away from the people. That's why you have an electoral college. You don't even vote directly for it. And we have such a wonderful educational system that it took me 60 years or more, 70 years, to find out recently that until 1912 in America, in order to vote for the Senate, you had to own property. You had to own property. And the best part of the Constitution, remember, are the amendments. You like a document where the best part are the amendments to it? No. So we're in a cycle. If we could get control of the schools, of our own schooling, we could make great changes, also called the revolution. But you can't get control of the schools until you have a revolution. So that's a puzzle. And schools are really prisons for children, you know, when the children have to go, whether they want to or not. I think a kid could learn how to read in a few weeks or a month when it really wanted to, when the child wanted to. And what else do you learn in school? How wonderful all the rules are and our own history. Our own. Is this your country? You want? What part of it do you want? So that's my preaching for today, except that now we're going to sing Stephen Taylor's song, a Paris song that I asked him to write. I collect Paris songs, put them out all over the world. You know, now there are new cable TV still exists, although every once in a while the powers that be want to get rid of it. I mean, public access TV. But now you can use the internet too, and so do that. Use the internet. Use YouTube and use. Maybe you could even apply for an artificial hand. I'm not sure about that. And you, as the financial advisor to the Saudi government, received at least, that's the Carlyle Group, $2 million in seed money from the Bin Laden family. Oh, that's good. Former President George Bush is a board member and major stockholder. Frank Carlucci, who served Ronald Reagan as Secretary of Defense, as chairman. Former Secretary of State James Baker is a partner. Other Carlyle players include former Prime Minister John Major of Britain. When we're talking about Britain, do you know that Thatcher got a contract from, I think it was Philip Morris, for $500,000 a year to defend tobacco interests in the UK. So here's a woman who's widely respected all over the world, especially for the Falkland War, in which they managed to kill a few hundred Brits and a few hundred Argentinian sailors. For what? The Falkland Islands have 200 people and some sheep on, a lot of more sheep on them. But at least it was a war, so. Anyway, other Carlyle players include former Prime Minister John Major of Britain and ex-premiers of the Philippines, Thailand, and South Korea. From 1990 to 1994, Bush Jr. was director of Caterair, a Carlyle company. In October of 2001, Jr. appointed Baker attorney Robert Jordan, who has no diplomatic experience, U.S. ambassador to Saudi Arabia. In 1990, Jordan defended Jr. in an investigation of illegal insider trading. Meanwhile, money managers are touting Carlyle's 34% annual return on investment. Let's see, all right now, all right, let's see, all right, here we go. Bin Laden was George Sr.'s clan. Not so long ago, set George up with a retirement plan. Lots of low-tax dough, go down White House, way down and pay off land. Tell the CIA, leave the Saudis alone. You know, most of the 9/11 bombers, almost all of them came from Saudi Arabia, a great ally. There's oil and gas in Uzbekistan. Oil and gas must flow. So we depose the Taliban. Hey, where does Osama go? Kneel down, Congress, bend down and lend a hand. Which brings you this wonderful and other wonderful show. So this is Steve Talley's guitar player and songwriter and wonderful singer with the Bugs, and he wrote, to the tune of Go Down Moses, he wrote, Go Down Congress, and tell the people liberty must go. There's more to gain in war than peace. Let the weapons flow. Destabilize the Middle East, enrich the CEO. Go down, brother, way down on Florida sand. Tell the justices not to let my people Iraq give the rubes a show. Lie down, people, lie down, lay down your Bill of Rights. Tell James Madison we let those amendments go. The opium crop was blown away. Let them poppies grow. Thanks to U.S. troops, it's back today. Only goes to show. Go down Wall Street, sell off my shares today. Tell my broker, tell him now, put it all in blow. And then I wrote, who can forget the Beatles? Look what happened to them. One died, I think, George was a smoker, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah, and
They all were.
and John was too radical, I think. Is that why he got killed? Well, because there are, a society breeds maniacs. John one day, and Virginia, yeah, and Virginia Tech another day. I think we'll end with this. We've got 5 minutes. All right. This is to the Norwegian Wood song. Here's a news report. Japanese corporations are destroying Malaysian rainforests at an astounding rate. Various native cultures are also currently being wiped out. I once had Arcadia, or shall I say, she once had we. She showed me her lawn, isn't it good, Malaysian wood? They asked that we cut and they shouted, chainsaw anywhere. While we stood around, they bulldozed till the hillside was bare. We winced at their greed, biding our time, drank sawdust wine. We argued till eve, and then they screamed, better dead than green. They said they'd replant in the morning and started to laugh. We told them we didn't believe them. They offered more graft. And when I awoke, I was bereft. The dryad had fled. Oh, maybe that's the dryad calling. that wasn't the dryad, it was just a bill collector. And when I awoke, I was bereft, the dryad had left. Then I built a fire, wasn't it good, of a Malaysian wood. We stared at the fire, used to be good, Malaysian wood. So we got a few minutes. Next week, we're going to keep up the singing spell. Oh, next week we're going to do. We're going to do. No, we're going to do Amsterdam to the tune of Jacques Brel's song. Amsterdam, only this is about Amsterdam Avenue, and it's a song by a camera woman whose name is, you don't know her name?
Thelma.
Thelma. So we'll be back again in a couple of weeks, and we hope you also write some songs. Anybody can do it. It's no great mystery. So 2 minutes. So let's see. How many people got killed today? In 2 minutes, how many people? No, it depends. If you're lucky, you can kill a lot of people in 2 minutes. What am I saying? So I'm getting tired of watching the news because it's a bunch of morons repeating what idiots tell them to read. And if you want to read about death that you can do very little about, just read the obituaries every day. And so what are we going to do? I don't know. Do you have any answers? Well, think about it.
No.
We all have to do whatever you can. That's all we can do, so we can get a little of the pressure off our guilt, out of our guilt feeling.